Hey guys, so I got a bunch of questions about the difference between the OpsCore and the Team Wendy helmet, which one to buy. I can't really make that decision for you, but what I can do is just kind of give you kind of just some of the stuff I've noticed between the two and kind of give you a rundown of the differences. You can make the decision yourself. Quick caveat, I'm not an operator. I don't use this stuff in any professional way. I just use it for a hobby. I'll wear them for a couple hours at night. I'll walk around during lunar eclipses. I'll walk around my neighborhood and just look for stuff like a weirdo. Done some coyote hunting, some pig hunting, but other than that, I'm just a regular dude who likes to have night vision stuff. So let's get into it. So I've got an OpsCore FAST base jump. This is just a bump helmet. So is the Team Wendy. So it's just a plastic shell. And if you look at the inside, there's not a lot of padding. And the advantage to this is if you want to use just a headset or standard ear pro, you can actually route your headband underneath between these pads here and just have your ear pro just kind of sitting like this. And then you can just kind of spread them apart, put them on your head, and you're basically good to go. However, it is not as comfortable as the Team Wendy. So when you look at the inside here, you can see there's a lot more padding. Basically there's almost no plastic visible, and you've got obviously these little extra pads here. So you've got a lot more coverage, so you don't get as many hot spots. With the OpsCore, what I noticed is this pad right here pushes down right about here on your head, and you kind of get a pressure point after about an hour. With the Team Wendy, you can wear them a lot longer. But one way to mitigate that is to run ear pro, and I'll get into that. Both have shrouds that are molded in. The Team Wendy shroud has this aluminum insert. So as this insert wears away from repeatedly putting your mounts in, if that's something you do, you can replace the insert. And I'm sorry if I don't get everything in frame here because I'm kind of at a weird angle. The OpsCore is pure molded in, all plastic. So this little, you can see that piece there, it's coming in and out. That engages right here. And if that wears out on this, you can shim it with rubber or tape or whatever, but eventually it will wear out. And when that happens, you can't replace the shroud. So I actually have a Wilcox 3-hole shroud, the kind that you see bolted on to the front of helmets. When this does eventually wear out, I'm just going to grind all this flat and put a 3-hole shroud on it, maybe put a cover on it so it looks pretty, and just deal with it that way. The rail system. So this is the arc rail system. This should look pretty familiar. If you look, most helmets are going to have this system. It's a system, it's pretty universal. It uses these little dovetail inserts, and these will just slide in. There's usually a little index point here or something that grabs onto these notches to keep it from moving around, and then you just lock them down. The Team Wendy rail, I'm not a huge fan of. Basically, it's a giant M-lock slot. It is actually compatible with M-lock hardware, from what I understand. So they make all kinds of accessories. They make ear pro mounts for it. It's just thumb screws that hold it in place. But I noticed that this upper rail here, it's pretty, you can actually flex it. I don't know if you can see that, but I can actually squeeze that and move it around a little bit. And there's no indexing points, and it's slick plastic, so I'm afraid stuff might slide around on it. These ear pro mounts are from Team Wendy, but they're for Peltors, and they actually use this quick release section. There's 2 holes in here that are threaded, and you can actually put a 7-slot M-lock rail in place of this. I don't use the rail, so I took that off and used these quick mounts. And these will not pop off. These were a pain in the ass to put on, so getting them off is just as bad. Since we're talking ear pro, I was running Howard lights, just those cheapy $40 ones, and I was running them with the Unity Tactical, I think it's called the Mark. And Unity Tactical, it's the same for both. There's a little thing that goes in here and you tighten it down with these tiny little hex screws. And on these, they would slide around. On the arc rail system, they would also slide around. And the other thing I didn't like was, so these 3M versions, and also the Team Wendy versions too, they have a kind of a loose mode where it's not even touching your head. And then see how it pops in, and now you have all this tension, and it actually holds against your head pretty well. Tightly enough that you don't really need to run your chin strap, unless you're like really jumping around. I mean, this will basically keep them against your head. So when you want to get them out of your way, you can pop these out. It takes all the tension off, and then I can just rotate them up like that. With the Unity Tactical version, they don't have that little snap. So you're fighting this spring all the way out as you're trying to rotate it. And a lot of times you'll pull your ear pro right off the little wires here, because the wires, unlike these, they don't have anything to prevent the ear pro from just sliding off. So they'll slip off, and then the little metal prong will hit you in the side of the face. So, and they would fall off. I loaned them to a buddy of mine. He was driving with night vision while we were hog hunting. He was running the OpsCore helmet with the Unity Tactical stuff, and he thought he broke it. He was really sorry about it, but all of this had basically just walked its way off. The OpsCore version, these are the ones from 3M. So they interface with the rail here, and then they've got this little tab that grabs on these grooves so they don't go anywhere. As far as retention, they both have really comfortable chin straps, no complaints there. The Team Wendy version has these little locks that you have to unlock to adjust, whereas the OpsCore, you just pull them up and down. The headlock, so you've got this, let's see if I can show it as best I can. You've got this plastic piece that goes around and down to here. And as you tighten this, you can see how it's getting tighter, or loosen it. So you stick these on, you tighten them down, you crank it down until it's nice and tight on your head. You put your chin strap on, and you're good to go. Team Wendy has the same thing, but they do it differently. They use this wire setup with this mesh here. This does not cut into your head, by the way. Totally comfortable. And to lock it down, you just tighten this ratchet. To loosen it, you just pull out, and it takes all the tension off. Between the two, the Team Wendy feels kind of like it goes like this, kind of cradles the back of your head a little bit more, whereas the OpsCore one feels more like it's on top, more like a baseball cap. The disadvantage to the Team Wendy setup, even though it's more comfortable and feels super secure, is this, which may be a big deal for some. You can see where it sits on this dummy head here. You've got this here, and you've got this area. And when you look at the ear pro is now sitting right on top of it. So it kind of breaks the seal. Also, if you've got iPro, your iPro comes in under this, and so you don't get as good of a seal. I'm running gel cups with these Peltors, and it still doesn't seal as well. So I tend to double up with ear protection anyway with a rifle, because the buttstock tends to push my ear pro out of the way. When you look at the OpsCore, it's just completely clear. And you can slide these back. And you have adjustment here. You can slide these back and forth to kind of fit your ear better. So yeah, those are the main differences. OpsCore offers a counterweight. This is their purpose-built counterweight. It's just a counterweight system, just bolts and Velcros here, just to counter the weight of the night vision. Team Wendy, I got the TNVC Mohawk, so it's got weights inside. It also has this insert that you can put in, which has for batteries. It's got this upper Velcro section with bungees, so I can hold on to my IR lights. As far as IR, these are V-lights. They're about $40 a piece, and they're disposable. They last, I think, 120 hours, and that's it. So constant on, and there we go, off. That's the IR version, so only night vision guys can see it. This is an IR reflective marker. It's just like a flag. It just looks like a bright reflector when infrared hits it, but doesn't reflect regular light. So here, I've got a red V-light. This is just a constant on, off model. It doesn't have a blink. And I've got Mantis from S&S Precision. So right now it's flashing IR, which you can't see. So I'll turn it into overt mode. Now you can see the green strobe. Nice thing about this is the battery is removable. So $200 though. So yeah. Oh, and incidentally, all this Velcro I added myself. The amount that they give you is really small, so I just bought some Coyote Velcro and stuck a ton on, so I had lots of options. And then as far as mounting lights, some guys try to use rails. There's little rail sections you can buy for the Team Wendy here, or this rail section. I just took a GoPro camera mount with these helmet mounts, took off the adhesive, filed all this stuff flat, and just bolted in one of these, I think it was from Magpul, one of their V-lock rings or whatever, and just put a little streamlight on there. So the Velcro holds it in place, and I can pull it off, I can angle it, move it around. It's just an admin light. It doesn't need to be super powerful. Did the same on this side. So one thing I thought about getting is they do make a better foam system that like covers everything in here with foam. It's called the Epic liner. I think it's called, no, it's called the Lux, sorry, for OpsCore. But it's like $180, and it replaces this with like a worm dial. It looks really nice, but it's the same cost of the helmet. So yeah, I might just avoid that. So might as well show you my night vision. So this is a Rhino 2 mount. This is the bare minimum if you're going to run night vision, because unlike the regular Rhino mount, the black ones that you've seen before, this has a height adjustment. So you can set the height for your eyes, you can set the angle, and then you can set the depth. These are like $60 online, like eBay. This is an $80 part I got from DRTO. It is an AKA Hyper, I think an AKA Hyper dovetail adapter, but it fits in here perfect. And it allows you to use a dovetail mount. So unlike the J-arms with the horn mount, this is just the dovetail, so I can clip in my pair of 14s. I run the 14s with the Rhino, because even though the Rhino sits them real high up in the air, hence the name, the nice thing about these is I don't have to run them that way. So if I need to look, say my optics this one goes down, I can just flip it out of the way, and I can just see under them like I'm wearing a baseball cap. And the nice thing is, because they're in my field of view and they're so low, I know where they are. I don't bump them into things. When they're flipped up, I tend to hit them. I was hitting them on the roof of the F-150 we were pig hunting like constantly, because I forgot they were up there. Just the awareness of where they are is a lot easier when they're down here. Also, if I want to, like, say, shoot through my red dot, I can just flip this up out of the way, look through my red dot with my right eye, superimpose the dot on the night vision image, and you can get hits that way. Because trying to shoot looking through your optic, night vision, through night vision, through like a red dot on a rifle, while trying to keep a cheek weld is a real pain in the butt. So, take these off. So this is a Neurodos Losto. This flips up differently. So I'll put my 15s in here. So you can see they don't flip way up like that. They kind of keep them more up to the front. The reason I use these with the 15s is when the 15s are down, these don't flip up out of the way. They only come up to about there. So they're still basically blocking my eyeballs. So these need to be able to be flipped up. The nice thing about the 15s is, while they're double the price, you get everything in one unit. This, is two 14s with a D14 mount. So you've got 2 batteries, 2 illuminators, 2 power supplies, 2 of everything. So you've got redundancy, which is cool. With this, all the tubes just share a single illuminator or power supply battery. So yeah, it's a little lighter. It's about 3.5 to 4 ounces lighter. It's not a huge deal, especially with a decent counterweight. So I'm not sure which I like better. These actually, I get these aligned to my eye better, just for something about the way the mount is. So, but of course, these are really convenient. You can see how low profile they are. They just don't take up any space on the front. So, compared to that, I look like Wally over here. So yeah, that's the difference between the two. If I had to choose, out of the box, I would go with the Team Wendy, just because it's more comfortable. But I like the arc rail system a lot better on the OpsCore. If the OpsCore had a more comfortable pad set, I'd probably go with that, because I like that it's open here, so my ear pro doesn't get compromised at all. So anyway, make your decision. Either way, you're probably going to be happy. But again, I'm not an operator. I just own the stuff and play with it. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see if I can answer it.